Now the next phylum is Ctenophora. It is also called as Anidarians. See, Anidarians. Why they are called as Anidarians? The reason is here the nidoblast or nematocyst is completely absent. Looks same, right? What is the difference between the jellyfish and comb jellies? In jellyfishes you see nidoblast, that is nematocyst in their tentacles, but even the Ctenophora also exhibit tentacles. How many tentacles are there? A pair of tentacles, only two. You just imagine a ball and from that a pair of tentacle arises. It has got cilia, but the nematocyst or nidoblast is absent. Hence the name Anidarians. Got it? Okay, so we just write nematocyst or nidoblast is absent. Do they have any other structure that do the same function as nidoblast or nematocyst? That is actually called as the lassocells. We just write here LASSO cells. See, this is the specialty of Ctenophora. For example, if I draw a diagram here, so we all know that the common name of the organisms which belongs to Ctenophora are C. walnuts, comb jellies, C. gooseberries. Yes, because they look like a gooseberry. What is the specialty? You see, they have got 8 ciliated external rows, correct? That is what we have studied in our regular class. Say like this on their body. So this is actually one side view, that could be front view of the organism. The back side of the organism also contains 4 more ciliated lines like this. Yes? Okay. So total 8 comb plates are there. This is called as comb plates. Now from this organism you see a pair of tentacles like this. Yes? A pair of tentacles. And these tentacles do the same function in the case of Coelenterata, same as Coelenterata. That is actually, they have specialized cells called as lasso cells. What is the function of lasso cells? They paralyze the prey, that's it. Or maybe like it could be for defense mechanism or offense mechanism, that's it. Okay, so that is the thing you just have to remember. One more important point is these organisms exhibit bioluminescence. Bioluminescence. This character will be seen in the case of Ctenophora. Yes, okay, they have the ability to emit light. Other important character is their development is always indirect and even they are hermaphrodites. Yes, okay, bisexual. Here, let me write this. The larval name of this organism is called as Cydipid larvae. Very important. Note this one. Cydipid larvae is the larvae of Ctenophora organisms. Because they exhibit indirect development, obviously the larval stage is called as cydipid. Very important, could be asked. So remember lasso cells, cydipid larvae. Enough actually. Other than that, you have already studied in the regular class. Now there are 2 classes. Let me just write the 2 classes. You see in the Ctenophora, the first one is Tentaculata. See, Tentaculata. Very simple to remember. Tentacles. If the organism which belongs to Ctenophora, they have tentacles, then they belong to the class Tentaculata. If they doesn't, like the tentacles are completely absent, then it should belongs to another category, that is Nuda. What is the meaning of Nuda? Nuda means nude. That is tentacles are completely absent. That's it. So we write here tentacles are present. Oh, how many? A pair, that's it. But in the case of Coelenterata, many tentacles, correct? Okay, not a pair, many. So here we just write a pair of tentacles, that is 2 tentacles. In this case, no tentacles. That's it. Example for this Nuda, example. So we just write a type of organism called as Bero. Example, Bero belongs to the class Nuda. Here, that is the example we have already studied in our regular class, the Pleurobrachia and Ctenoplana. Easy. Okay, so that's all about from this particular phylum Ctenophora. Okay, easy. It's very simple actually. Just remember they have got 8 ciliated comb plates. Got it? And a pair of tentacles with lasso cells, function, offense and defense. Okay. The larval stage is called as sediped larvae and they have the ability to emit light, that is called as bioluminescence. Done? Okay. Now we'll talk about the next phylum, that is Platyhelminthes. Let us learn about the next phylum, that is Platyhelminthes. What is the common name of Platyhelminthes? Flat worms, because they are dorso-ventrally flattened organisms. Correct? Okay. They are all endoparasites. At the same time, they are acoelomates. What is the meaning of acoelomate here? Coelom is completely absent, that is the body cavity is absent, even though they are triploblastic animals. They are triploblastic. They have all 3 germ layers, but body cavity is absent between ecto and endoderm. Yes, so this is the thing. Got it? Even though they have mesoderm, a third middle layer, that is there. Okay, so we write here, they are all called as flatworms, but still they are acoelomates. You are not supposed to get confused with pseudocoelomates. Pseudocoelomate organisms are the next phylum organisms, that is Aschelminthes, Ascaris. Okay, so pseudocoelomate, Aschelminthes. These are 100% acoelomates, triploblastic acoelomates. Got it? So remember it. It is the only phylum which are triploblastic and acoelomates. Got it? So that is Platyhelminthes. That means it is understood that from here onwards, the next phylum, Aschelminthes pseudocoelomates, that is the mesoderm is scattered like a pouches, okay, between ectoderm and the endoderm. And after that Annelida, they are triploblastic coelomates, Arthropoda triploblastic coelomates, Echinodermata triploblastic coelomates, Mollusca triploblastic coelomates, okay, Hemichordata triploblastic coelomates, Chordata triploblastic coelomates. Done? Okay. So the next is they are endoparasites, correct? All the organisms. Some exceptions are there. For example, planaria. Planaria have high capacity of regeneration and they are not endoparasites. They are free living. You see them in the fresh water. Okay. Other than that, if you just recall the tapeworm, okay, they are 100% endoparasites. They live inside the intestine of the human body. Okay. There is one more worm called as the dog worm. Let me just write dog worm. Hope this is visible to you better. I use white color. Dog worm. Just remember it is the type of endoparasite which is a type of flatworm, belongs to the phylum Platyhelminthes, live inside the intestine of the dog. Intestine of the dog. Let me write its scientific name. See, Echinococcus granulosa. See the name. Echinococcus granulosa is the scientific name of dog worm. Very important, note this point. What is the scientific name of the simple tapeworm? We know that is Taenia. Solium. Taenia solium is the scientific name of the tapeworm. And you see planaria. Yes, they have got high capacity of regeneration, as I told earlier. The next one is liver fluke, Fasciola hepatica. Yes, we have already studied about it. Let us see that here. The very important point to remember, that is its excretory cells. Excretory cells in the Platyhelminthes are always a type of cell called as flame cells. So, flame cells, you know about it because I have stressed this point because it's very important for both board as well as competitive part. But here in the NEET, they may ask you in a different way. Got it? The excretory organ of the Platyhelminthes. Options could be given: green glands or maybe kidney, okay, or something else. And option D could be, instead of flame cells, it could be like this: selenocytes. So it is understood that selenocytes are nothing but the other name of flame cells. So got it? Both are common, both are same actually. Done? Easy? Okay. Now we study about its respiration. Normally Platyhelminthes respire through its body surface. That is simple diffusion. So this is the organism. If you remember the model prepared by me in the regular class and I showed it, right? How exactly the organism look. You know about it. Okay. So their respiration is always through simple diffusion, that is through body surface. So we write here respiration is through body surface in majority of the platyhelminthes organisms. There is one exception, that is this, the tapeworm. Okay, the tapeworm actually not, they are anaerobes. So you may get a question, name the anaerobic flatworm, that is nothing but tapeworm, that is Taenia solium. Okay, because they are endoparasites inside the intestine of the human being. They respire through anaerobically. It's entirely different, not aerobic respiration, it is anaerobic respiration. Just note this point, you will understand what is aerobic and anaerobic respiration later, okay, when I discuss about respiration in plants, you will understand it, okay. So that's it, very simple. For the synthesis of ATP, they do not require oxygen. If any organism requires oxygen for the synthesis of ATP inside the mitochondria, then they are called as aerobic organisms. Done. Okay, you will understand it later. Done. Now, we will talk about its classes, very important now. Only you have to remember its examples, that's it. Classes. There are three classes, easy, three classes. The first one is Turbellaria. Turbellaria. Example for Turbellaria, Planaria. So it is understood that Planaria are not endoparasites, they are not parasites actually. Okay, so Turbellaria class is nothing but they are free living organisms. So it's easy, free living, they live in the fresh water. Got it? Okay, so in the Planaria what you see? High capacity of regeneration. That is Turbellaria. Got it? Done. The next is we go to the second class. Trematoda is the second class. See, Trematoda is nothing but endoparasite. Okay, they live inside the organism's body. It could be like a different organism's body. So they are depending on some other organism's nutrition. So they damage the internal organs of the organism, the host organism. So they all belongs to Trematoda. Example for Trematoda, that is all flukes. Okay, all flukes belongs to Trematoda. That is, very good example is Fasciola hepatica. Liver fluke is a very good example for Trematoda. Okay, we go to the third type of classification, that is the third class of the platyhelminthes, that is Cestoda. Cestoda again endoparasites. Good example for this is all type of tapeworms. So we just write the tapeworms. Okay, it could be Taenia solium or it could be the Echinococcus granulosa. So we write here the examples. Taenia solium number one, second one is Echinococcus granulosa. They all belongs to this Cestoda. Let me just erase it and tell you the larval stage, because they also exhibit indirect type of development. So we will see that. What about its digestion? So if you want, please write down here. The digestion is always incomplete. So they exhibit what type of body plane? Blind sac. So Coelenterata blind sac, Platyhelminthes also blind sac. Okay. Blind sac body plane. Done? Okay, now let me erase it and give you the larval stage. Okay, so before I erase, I just want to add few points here. Okay, let me just write here itself. Okay, let me erase this portion. You just take the first class, that is Turbellaria. Okay, just if you have a space, please write down here the Turbellaria. For example, let me just write the Planaria diagram, kind of like this, right? Okay, so Planaria, they belongs to the class Turbellaria, yes. And here the body mainly consists of ciliated surface like this, and they have the ability to secrete mucus. So if you touch the Planaria, they normally slips. Okay, and the mucus secreting cells present in the cilia is actually called as rhabdites. You get this question, very important. Rhabdites is nothing but a type of cell present in the body wall of the Turbellaria. Body wall of the Turbellaria called as rhabdites. Got it? They have the ability to secrete mucus. Done? Rhabdites, remember it. Okay. Next is, as these organisms obviously have cilia, so we just talk about its larval stage. Okay, before it becomes this planaria, the adult organism, the larval stage also bears cilia around the body. Hence, the larval stage or larval name of this Turbellaria is also called as ciliated, because they have cilia. Ciliated Muller's larvae. Ciliated Muller's larvae is the larvae of Turbellaria. Easy? Hope you can remember this. Ciliated Muller's larvae, very important because they have cilia. Muller is nothing but the scientist who discovered this. Got it? Okay. So this is the adult organism of the Turbellaria. Done. Okay. Next we go to the Trematoda. Here itself again, let me erase this portion. Trematoda. Here, you just write here. The Trematoda, for example, you just draw like this. This is nothing but our liver fluke. You know about the liver fluke. This is the ventral surface. You see a type of structure both on the anterior side and the ventral surface, maybe on the stomach surface like this. This is nothing but the suckers. So this particular Trematoda, they exhibit two types of suckers. One is called as the oral suckers, that is in the mouth, oral sucker. And this portion is, that is on the ventral surface, the sucker is present. So it is the ventral sucker. I think I have explained it in the class, in the model. I think you know about it. They have got two suckers. Enough, easy. Okay, so that is about Trematoda. Last one is Cestoda. Okay. If you have any confusion, please pause the video, take the notes, or maybe like you can re-watch the video. Okay, so next is Cestoda. In the Cestoda, let me just draw. I have already explained this. So if you take the flatworm, okay, they have got a neck, that is, I am talking about its anterior most position. Okay, eyes are completely absent, but it looks like eye. This is nothing but the hook, and here you see sucker, hook and sucker in the case of flatworm. So you take any type of flatworm, dogworm or maybe Taenia solium, whatever it is. Let me write dogworm and Taenia solium, that is flatworm. Oh yeah. Okay. So you see this hook and sucker in its anterior position. Okay, that is called as scolex. The region is called as scolex. Just remember, you may get a question. Scolex is seen in Cestoda class. Cestoda. Okay, I have not written Cestoda class. Okay, that means dogworms, Echinococcus granulosus and Taenia solium that exhibit hook and sucker in its anterior position, and the entire part is called as scolex. Very simple. What is the meaning of scolex in the case of this platyhelminthes? Nothing but head. Simple. Okay, head. But we know that head means they must have brain. But in this case, brain is absent. Okay, I forgot about its nervous system. The nervous system is ladder-like this. See, how many nerve cords are there? A pair of nerve cords. Where exactly? Dorsal or ventral? Ventral. All the time ventral. And you could see these are transverse nerves. They join these nerve cords. Transverse nerves, and this is the nerve cord. I think I have explained this. I still remember it. Okay, so ladder shaped nerve or nervous system. Nervous system. Note this. You may get a question. Ladder shaped nervous system is seen in platyhelminthes. Done? Okay then. So we have done with the phylum Platyhelminthes. Next phylum is Aschelminthes. That is, they are pseudocoelomates.